All right, so here we go. Oz report. Second time we do this. We're going to be doing this once a week, and what we do here is we go about looking at items that are interesting to buy right now because of various events that are going on the server. Same with items that you might be wanting to sell, and generally directions that the market is going. And one thing I want to start with today is we just touched on salvage goods, but trigger units are very interesting, right? Because trigger units, I've said this quite a few times on stream already. They tend to fluctuate quite nicely between 550, 600, and then 900k. And this happens quite regularly, and they have various price spikes in the middle. Right now, it's a good time to buy trigger units again. So at 637, you can see I'm buying these as well. So trigger units is just one representative of a good salvage good that you can invest right now, while also being sure that you will be able to sell it for a profit at some point in the next few months and probably weeks, because this is one of the big money makers in the game, at least for me. So trigger units, keep an eye out. Second thing for today, Winter Nexus event is still going on. So you still need to keep an eye on decryptors, especially accelerant decryptors, attainment decryptors, augmentation decryptors, parity descriptors, and symmetry decryptors. I think that's the top 5 if I remember correctly. They've all been following a very similar trajectory, as in they dropped in price quite heavily because a lot of people are doing the data sites, the data exploration sites in the Nexus event. And we have now been into the event a week, and prices have quite stabilized, but they've stabilized at a quite low level. So this is a very good indicator of a good time to buy. So if you're looking at decryptors as a mid to long-term investment, or you need decryptors for your invention processes, then right now is an awesome time to buy these. The agency boosters are very similar. We talked about that last week as well. They are dropping from the event. There was also a login reward. So they are all dealing quite or trading at a quite low price right now. I'm going to look at the dose 3 and dose 4 because those are markets that are big enough. If you are investing smaller amounts of capital, then you can also look at the dose 1 and dose 2. So we're talking hardshell, overclocker, pyrolantia pretty much. And they have all dropped in price quite significantly, but very similarly to the decryptors, they have now stabilized in price. So if this was actually an example where in the early days you could still make a better profit than you can now, because the prices, a lot of investors and or other people listening to my content or other traders' content possibly have caught on to this and have started buying up a lot of these this increased supply that is hitting the market from the Nexus event. So this is hard shell. Same with overclocker, though. If we look at the graph, dip down recovery with the force, dip down recovery. Pyrolantia the same. So even if you listen to it on the podcast right now and you are not looking at the graph, have a look at hardshell, overclocker, pyrolantia. They've all pretty much dipped and then recovered. Great time to buy these for the midterm. You can expect these to recover in a few weeks or month. Not a few days, because this event still is going on till January 5th. So make sure you do understand that. The Quave 0 we talked about last week as well. This was a login reward, so this is a little bit different, although I've been told they also drop from the data sites, and so, or possibly from the combat sites, I don't know. But so what we're seeing here is a dip and also a recovery, and so similarly to the other boosters, Quave 0 might be a very good investment right now. I certainly have bought in quite significantly. Another category that we need to talk about today is Moongoo, right? I hope that you listened to my stream or to the Oz report last week, because I said that Moongoo is starting to turn around, and there could be some good profits to be made. And if you look at Prometheum, for example, you can see that it was trading around 40k last week, and it has since jumped to about 50k. Now that might be investors. It's probably not increased, just not increased demand per se. It looks like a big buyout, but still, you know, have a look at different Moongoos and how they are recovering to decide when is a good time for you to jump in. The story behind that is that with the scarcity phase going on, a lot of people, more than usual, have resorted to moon mining, and so there's an oversupply in the market that you can capitalize on by investing in low price Moongoo right now. Prometheum is not the only one. You look at Neodymium, for example. These are just two of the highest volume raw moon materials. You can see here it's already recovered to basically October, November levels. So this is, you know, you need to decide whether it's going to recover even more. But some of them haven't recovered overall, and you can still jump in to some of these. I'm not going to tell you exactly which ones, because that would you know, be way too long for this format. But you know, if you want to know, come hang out on the stream. Now, very interestingly enough, and my biggest moneymaker of this week is the Sunesis, right? So if you guys watch the stream, you know that I always try to buy up all the login rewards, and I have a huge stockpile of Sunesis destroyers. There is a 2v2 destroyer abyssal PvP event going on right now. The Sunesis is one of the ships that you can fly in that because it's tier 1 destroyers, and it's just been hugely popular. It has since dropped back down from, you know, originally like 8 million. It went up to 14 or 15 million. It's dropped back down to 12 million, but there's a lot of people clearing out their stockpiles of Sunesis right now. So if you are holding on to them just like I am, then try to get some of those on the market, although the prices are dropping quite quickly. Next, let's talk about excavator mining drones. During the week, there was several occasions where you could buy 10, 20 excavator mining drones for about 250, 260 million. Do keep an eye out for those, because I think you know, this 250, 260 range is a fantastic buy price for these. This is an investment that will get you ready for the end of scarcity phase. So that's what I think everyone buying excavator drones is waiting for. Yes, there is a risk involved in this, in that you know, the excavators might have a different role going forward. Explaining that would go into too much detail right now, but still, I think at 250, 260, this is pretty much a no-brainer, and I have a big stockpile of them still. One of my favorite items, you guys know this, is the Imperial Navy General insignia. And if you are still holding the Imperial Navy General insignia ones, because I've been telling you to buy them for a few months, then you should start thinking about selling them. I have started liquidating my stockpile, and you know, if you were buying at 1.8, 1.9, which is a typical buy price for these in terms of cyclicality, then hopefully you're making a nice profit now selling them at 2.3, 2.4. You might be wondering why these. These are among the top 5 highest volume traded insignias, and that's why I like trading in them, because the combination of very good buy and sell ratio to high volume to nice cyclical fluctuation make these guys a huge money maker. So go check them out. Second to last item, Augmented Drones, and specifically Hammerheads and Hobgoblins. I am guessing this is because of the Destroyer event that is going on. But Hammerheads and Hobgoblins are the two high damage, high base damage augmented drones. And so these have been bought up quite well. And that has pushed the price up. So if you have been buying quite cheaply, so for example the Hobgoblins, you've easily been able to buy these at like low 3 millions. You can sell them at 5 million right now, so make sure you keep an eye on those if you're holding a stockpile, and you should be getting rid of that. And the last item for the day is Contaminated Lawrence Fluid, also one of the highest traded items in the game. Last week you could buy this at 90, as you can quite regularly. So you can see here it dips down quite regularly. Right now is one of those periods again where it actually hit 140 in the last few days. Now it's already back to 125, but depending on where you bought, this might still be a nice profit margin. You know, it's times like these that remind you to always have this item on your watch list, because it's a big money maker if you're just a little bit patient. It's also an item that is quite susceptible to market manipulation, because when sometimes you can see sell order volumes at a certain tier get quite low, so let's say between 120 and 130, you will be able to buy out the entire market for a few hundred million, and so a lot of people do that. So if you keep a stockpile of these, it's quite easy to strategically buy and sell to make a quick profit on these. So Contaminated Lawrence Fluid, keep your eye on them. All right, cool. That's the second episode of the Oz Report over, and we're gonna go back to regular